So tell us a bit about Teamworks, and so what are you actually using? Your teamwork, your listening skills, communication, your coding skills. What are you actually doing with that then on a day-to-day basis?
So day-to-day, it could look like doing new feature work, bug fixes. When it comes to new feature work, we might come into the office, discuss new ideas, or do some pair programming with each other. I mean, at the minute, we're on the same project, so it's quite nice working from home with each other and then getting Amy on, the other apprentice, on the call so we can really talk about new ideas and work through problems together. And then as well, we also been able to do group projects at uni. All of those skills, presentation skills, come in handy when it comes to those kind of assignments as well.
Yeah, that's good. And so what is Teamworks actually doing then for, like, what's the software all about? What's the ultimate goal of it all?
So we offer lots of different products to elite sports teams, and the ones that I've personally worked on, I've worked on a scheduling product that allows them to manage operations, and I've worked on our academics product for college students for managing their college courses alongside a scholarship or for their sports scholarship, which was really interesting. And at the minute, we're working on an inventory management project.
So you mentioned the word operations there. So people maybe think operations, they think of a hospital and things like that. So what does that actually look like? And so tell us one of the teams that you work with. Are you able to talk about that, or are they're professional sports teams across the world, essentially? Yeah. Rugby teams, NFL.
Yeah, we would have football, like Premier League teams.
Premier League teams. Okay. So what are you doing with a Premier League team then? How are you helping them to organise themselves?
If they're using our hub product, then they can use it to schedule training sessions, meetings. They can also use our digital displays, which is a product team that I've been on. So from their different scheduling of meetings, menus, nutrition, they can then put that on to screens across their training grounds.
Okay.
To let all the players see what's coming up and what's going to be completed throughout that day or the next 3 days in that week.
Okay. So you're helping to organise these teams. Yeah. Like, so the ultimate purpose is that they then focus on being athletes?
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly. I think the example always comes back to using a WhatsApp group. When we were in Kairos, that was always used, that maybe someone would post in when training session was, but this person can't make it, but they can. And suddenly a WhatsApp group's filled with messages and you can't organise.
Yeah,
and
we've all been there.
Yeah. So Hub in particular helps to cut down on the confusion and make that process more efficient.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So do you feel a real sense of purpose in your work? Like, do you feel like you're making a difference?
Yeah, I do. I like seeing being in the product channels where you can see how our products are being used and seeing how that's actually impacting a player's performance and the organisation of that team is really satisfying, to know that you've had a small part in helping them to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Last year when I was on the academics product, I would be doing bug fixes. So seeing like people type in their actual issues and then be able to fix that and send it out, and knowing that people were really happy with the work that you've done, you got a real sense of achievement from that.
So when you say bug fixes, for people who aren't technical, those are just, how would you do it? What's that?
When something that should happen isn't, that needs corrected.
Okay, so your software isn't perfect. It's always like iterative, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whatever you do, it's never going to be perfect, and there's always improvements that you can make. So yeah, exactly.
But you enjoy the helping people through that. That's fantastic. That's good. And whenever you came into Kairos, as it was it a big team that you came into, or was it relatively?
It was very small.
Okay.
There was maybe about 25 of us, 25, 30, around there. So to go into a small company right away, you had a bigger impact than like a small pigeonhole role, if you know what I mean. So to go straight into a smaller company, you really did feel like your opinions were being heard, because you were speaking to the CFO and the CTO straight from the beginning, because it was that really close-knit team.
Yeah.
But now we're with Teamworks. We've got over 350 employees, but that feel still hasn't really changed from the teams that we're in and the people that we work with. You still feel that your voice is heard and that the ideas that you have still make an impact in the products you're working on.
That's good to hear. So you talked about how software IT was something that your parents encouraged you and you were thinking about it. And there's such a demand for software engineers. So how do we encourage more people to get involved and follow in your footsteps, essentially?
I think it goes back to when we were at school, that university was pretty much the only route. But if there was more of a level playing field almost, where apprenticeships weren't the backup option, I remember some of the people that I was with, they were like, oh, I've applied for apprenticeships just in case uni doesn't work out. Okay. But really, an apprenticeship is something that would really help. And yeah, I think if instead of it being a backup option, if it was talked about more on that same level, it would be beneficial.
Yeah.
I think as well, when it came to the application process, although there was some support at school, we did have to do a lot of preparation, additional research ourselves when it came to applying for apprenticeships. So it would be good if there was more of help from school from the application process, not just, why don't you have a look at, you could work through this company, apply there or use Workplus, but here's some prep and how you can do your group exercises, your interviews, or even just the written application itself.
Yeah, there's definitely more that could be done there, I think, around that. Yeah, I agree with that. And whenever we look at some of the numbers around software apprentices, they're about 24% are female. Do you think there's a misconception out there with women that software isn't for them?
When you go into your A-level classes and uni classes, you can definitely feel the difference between the numbers. And there probably is a misconception that because it's been encouraged mainly to men for so long, that it is only for men. But actually, women offer a different perspective in software. We all have different experiences. And I think over time, especially like with Olivia said about our last two hiring of apprentices have been fully female. I think it is changing slowly. Yeah. So just as more people and more women are given the opportunity to get into software, then that perception will hopefully change.
Yeah, that's good. And so you along with Amy, were the first batch of apprentices into, so another batch has come in behind you, is that right?
Just in September, another 3 girls.
Okay, great.
And then we also hired another woman who moved company, who's also an apprentice. So far, 100% female.
That's fantastic, because you need to get some men in there for some diversity.
I know.
It's great to see, though. It's great to see and great to hear the stories and the impact that you're making. You said, going back to your old school, have you had the chance to do that?
Last year we went back to talk to the year 13s about to start their A2 to talk about our experience in getting into software engineering apprenticeships, along with a few others who were from different STEM apprenticeships. So that was really good to be able to go back and really see where you were and then where you are now in your apprenticeship and how much that we have grown and developed as people as well, which was very nice.
Oh, that's great. That's good. So what would you say to parents and that are just on the borderline, that just like, oh, I just think this is such a risky option for my son or daughter? What would you say to that? Well,
there's so many opportunities out there at the minute to even just get a taste of what it'll be like. For example, companies offer work experience days. There's workshops with companies like Code Academy. You can do free online courses. So before you actually commit to something, you can get a feel for it straight from free courses. And then if it isn't for you, well, then you can just go try something else. But there's so much opportunity out there with tech apprenticeships that I'm sure you'll find something because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
We were applying probably just out of COVID. So all of our work experience was online. But now that you can really get into companies and talk in person, it does really give you a snapshot of what it might be like to work in the tech industry.
Yeah. How do you think AI is changing things, even in the last 3 years since you've done your apprenticeship?
I would say that it gives me support in my work. Okay, I don't use it a lot, but I definitely use it for tasks that speed up time, like generating dummy data, for example, that I can put in quickly. It definitely saves me time. But it's just interesting how I hope that it doesn't replace the training process for me and Olivia especially. We have come in from the ground and we have needed that help. So if AI replaced certain tasks that I would like to learn how to do that from the beginning, it was interesting to see how that'll work from an apprentice's point of view. Recently in work, actually, we were filling in surveys about our thoughts on AI and how it could be implemented in the workplace. And the result of that was reassurance that AI is there to help us to improve and to work more efficiently rather than to replace the work we do.